We are now going to go to questions for the witness, and I'm going to begin with myself. Mr. Maiko, H.R. 3538 directs the Secretary to establish a voluntary cooperative program in partnership with a professional accrediting zoological association with existing capacity and expertise. How many organizations are you aware of that meet that definition?
Thank you for the question. I don't have a clear answer for the exact number of organizations that meet that definition. I do know that our law enforcement officers work across the country with qualified organizations and operations that they rely on to place animals that they confiscate with organizations that have the expertise to care for these animals while those investigations are taking place.
Well, we definitely want that, but at the same time, my understanding is that the way that this bill is currently drafted, that it actually rather constrains the ability to do so simply by the definition. It limits the number of organizations that meet the definition, and I would request that perhaps after this hearing, you would be able to get me the information as to what the number is, because I want to make sure that we have adequate resources and facilities available to be able to take and care for these animals.
If I may follow?
Yes.
We share those concerns, and I think it's important to understand the way the legislation is crafted, that it's focusing on animals that are confiscated at our borders, endangered species, CITES Act violations. Our law enforcement officers are confiscating animals across the country domestically as well as along our borders. We confiscate in the last, I want to say, since about 2019, again, the testimony, 73,000 animals. Around 26,000 of those are collected at our borders or are endangered species or CITES listed species, which leaves a large number of animals that still require care and placement. We think it's very important that our law enforcement officers maintain the ability and decision authority to place animals that are part of an investigation at facilities they are comfortable with and will best suit those animals as they work through an investigation. We do know that we're collecting animals all hours of the day and night, all days of the week, and having facilities that are accessible to us immediately allows us to get back to our law enforcement activities. It's also important, again, is to in those unique situations where we maybe confiscate large cats. We know facilities that take large cats that we can rely on to place those animals. So it's a complex
Conundrum.
Conundrum is a great word. Yep, appreciate it.
Well, what I also want to find out is what safeguards does the service have in place currently to ensure that wildlife confiscations are done to the letter of the law and that any confiscated animal is adequately cared for? What are the safeguards in place?
So we certainly follow the letter of the law when we confiscate animals. Again, working with our at the local level with those facilities that we have built relationships with, and understand that they are also law-abiding facilities and have the capacities to care for specific and unique animals, to care for those unique animals that are confiscated.
Okay, I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. Given the number of state wildlife action plans due for an update this year, and there's over 40 of them, there must have been some planning at the service in collaboration with the states to expedite the review and approval process. Can you share any examples of efficiencies the service is working to implement to make sure that you can get these swaps reviewed in a timely manner?
I appreciate the follow-up question, and we've worked with the Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies and through the states on a guidance memo that has identified some efficiencies through some digital data entry forms that reduce errors, that allow us to manage and work through that process more quickly. We work with, we provide technical assistance to states before they even start the process so they get started on the right foot. We also assure that as soon as a state submits their state wildlife action plan for review, they're able to access the funds available to them and start working on their priorities.